It actually happened to me. Just the guy I dated just before I married my husband. I remember he came to see me in school. I was my friend. Shout out to you, AB, if you remember this. We went to the bakery, Unilag Bakery at the time, and we're on the queue for bread. And he bought his own, he paid. My friend bought her own, she paid. I bought my own, I paid. I said there's trouble. Hello everyone, welcome to our channel, Life, Love and Relationship. My name is Oluwakemi. Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Life, Love and Relationships. Today's topic is highly demanded. We're going to be talking about how to choose a life partner. I was pondering on it earlier on. Should we make it a bracket topic? But then it dawned on me as I pondered that actually we process information, our emotions also run differently. So we're going to be specific today. This is for the women, how to choose a husband. What makes it a bit unique for women is you have a plethora of options. Suitors are coming to you, and then you have these options to pick from. So you need to be wise. You need the spirit of discernment to help you know men that are genuine, and not only genuine, the men that are fitting into your life's purpose, into your life's goals, and even the men that fit your personality, the men that you know that you can live with. But there is always a starting point. In most cases, the starting point is usually physical attraction. And that is why, as ladies, you must dress the part. If you know you want a certain type of men to address you, you can't afford to dress in a way that those type of men would not want to speak to the kind of lady that is dressed in that way. And I'll use myself as an example. I used to dress in a certain way in my year one. We're all growing, we were exploring, we're just trying to understand our feminine bodies, right? But by the grace of God, by the time I got to year three, I understood that, this thing that they say that dress the way you want to be addressed is not overrated. So you need to sit yourself down and tell yourself, if you want a certain type of men in terms of their level of spirituality, in terms of how confident they are, in terms of their willingness to be committed, right? There is a certain way you must. It's the truth. I used to fight it, but really, I remember very vividly that when I started dressing differently in my year three, the type of toasters that I started getting was different from what I got in my year one and year two. Maybe maturity also came to play, because at that time, I think I turned 21. The way that I reasoned started to change, and it reflected in the way that I dressed, in the way that I presented myself, in the way that I spoke. So these things are very important. You need to sit yourself down. How do you want people to view you? What type of men do you want to attract? What type of men do you want to be attracted to you? And dress yourself in the same manner. You cannot be wanting something and then be doing the opposite of that thing. So you need to ensure that you're attracting the right kind of people that you want into your life, so that when the options come, when you have to pick from the plethora of options, all of them are the kind of men that you want to be talking to, right? So it makes it easier for you to number down your options. And I must say that physical attraction should not be the sole basis of wanting to attract people. Intellectual and emotional connection is just as important, right? But the way human beings are wired, what comes first is the visuals, is how people see you. So don't underplay, and especially for us as Christians, don't underplay the power of physical attraction, but also be mindful of how you come across intellectually, be mindful of how you come across emotionally, because these things are also important. They set out a certain vibe, a certain level of energy, and people are drawn to those things, even though we cannot see these things with our eyes. So read up, empower yourself with knowledge, empower yourself with information. Make sure that you're thinking right. Make sure that you are in tune with today's world. Make sure that you are in tune with what you truly desire for your life, and you're very aware. You're very aware is not that you are overworked. Wokeness is not something to necessarily clamor for. So being aware is different from wokeness. There is an observation that I've made, right? The so-called people that we call strong women. Have you observed that strong women are most of the time usually drawn to men who are not as intellectually strong as them, or who just have the opposite of what they have intellectually? Have you observed, or is it just me? I think I've taken my time to just observe those people that you guys call it is a trend that I actually avoid. I don't like to be called one. But generally, I've seen that people that you guys call strong women, right? They usually are very highly intellectual, highly intelligent women. Why don't they end up with men that are just as intellectual? Why? Could it be the law of opposite attracts? Or could it be just that in our very essence, in our just wanting to do our best, wanting to, wanting to give the world our view, wanting to just, to just give ourselves, to expand ourselves and contribute meaningfully to this earth? Could it be that we are looking for the men who are just willing to receive us, right? And the truth is, if you have a man who is just as active as you are intellectually in terms of expression, you may not be lucky to have the level of the level of recipients that you seek. Could this be the reason why the so-called strong women usually end up with men that are not as highly intellectual as they are? I would leave that for you to ponder on, but this has just been an observation. Hopefully one day we would dedicate a video to just talk about strong women and why they don't usually attract the men that have this at least the same level of intellectual vibrance that they have. But to go on with this video, emotional and intellectual connection is also as important. So like I said earlier on, make sure that you are very aware, you are knowledgeable, you're reading up, you're empowering yourself as much as possible. You will definitely become attractive, and then you'll be able to attract the kind of people that you really want to attract. Communication is key. When you're sieving through the options available to you, are you also looking at their style of communication? How do they talk? How do they listen? What is their communication style? Do they allow you to be the kind of woman that you want to be? Do they inspire you? Do they encourage you? Is it important to you for your man to inspire you, for your man to encourage you? Do you, on the other hand, are you a woman who wants to be led? In my personal life, that I've found to be true. I used to say that not all women want to be necessarily led. In the age that I'm in now, I'm believing that actually we desire to be led. We desire to be led. So do not make the mistake that because you are a strong woman, you don't have the need to be led. Make sure that you are choosing a man that can receive you, can support you to grow, to be the woman that you want to become. But also, he is able to provide a level of leadership that is required for your home. Because whether you like it or not, men are positioned to lead the home. And I've always said that I believe in this structure. It is not just a Bible structure that we must obey. It just makes absolute sense. You cannot have two captains in one ship. There must be a structure to your home. So if you desire to be led, does this man have the ability to provide leadership? Do you see him leading you? How does he inspire you? Do you see him fathering your children? How do you see him? How does he communicate? What are the things he says? What inspires him? What are his value systems? So this brings me to my next point. In the talking stage, what we now call the talking stage, in those days we used to call them toasting. While he's toasting you, are you beginning to see, as you talk to him, as he talks to you, are you seeing overlapping value systems? Where do you have shared beliefs? Do you have shared value system? For instance, the Bible tells us, do not be unequally yoked. So does it believe in what you believe in? Do you believe in the same thing? Do you share the same spirituality? Do you understand what I mean? What is he kind? Do you believe that people should be kind to you? Are you kind to people? Is he kind? Is he loving? Do you have shared values? Do you have shared life goals? Do your life goals will overlap at some point, or as you work in this direction, is it working in this direction? If that is the case, are you both able to come together and agree on how to run your life? Is that something you already see in this person? What are his views on family, life, career, business, religion? What are his views? Politics may also come to play. But essentially, you must consider his views on family, his views on life in general, his view on career, his view about those things that are passionate to you. Is he a man that would support your life goals? Or is he a man that would kill your life goals? And one thing that I want to say here is, before you get to the point that you choose a life partner, it is very essential that you have a very good grasp on yourself. Who are you? Have you answered these very important questions? What is your self knowledge about yourself? Are you clear on who you are? Because if you're not clear on who you are, it is very unlikely that you would have clarity in choosing a life partner for yourself. Please do not underestimate this. There's no hurry. There is really no hurry. This is one person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So be sure that you know yourself. You know what you want to do with your life. You have a very deep understanding of who you are before you choose a husband. I cannot emphasize this enough, because the truth is, if you do not know who you are, the chances that you would pick the right husband for yourself are very slim. Some of the values can also include trust and honesty. So you must also ask yourself, you cannot be wanting somebody who is trustworthy and who is honest, and you yourself, you're not trustworthy and honest, right? So I'm assuming that, you have all these values yourself. So for your peace of mind, and I must tell you, as women, this one that I mentioned, trust and honesty, is very important. Kindness, discipline. Is he a disciplined man? Is he a disciplined man? Is he trustworthy? Is he honest? Because these are the things that cause heartache. Save yourself the heartache. It's not about, oh, fine, tall, black, it's really not about those things. Oh, develop yourself to the level that you are all these things yourself, so that these things can naturally come to you. Is he trustworthy? Is he caring? Is he disciplined? Is he a honest person? These are the values. Ladies, avoid heartache. And very sadly, I have also observed that there are people who are not, and now I'm not saying that you should go for people who are not born again, right? But I've observed that there are people who are actually not in Christ, but somehow they have a level of discipline that is amazing. They are very disciplined. They treat people kindly because of the way they want to be treated. So don't assume that because there's a brother in church who is born again. Ayaya, ayaya, ayaya. I was dazed. This happened to me. Don't assume that because there is a brother in church who is kabashing rekosoto, who is doing all those things. Don't assume that this brother is kind. Don't assume that this brother is trustworthy. Do not assume that this brother is disciplined. Like somebody said, it is people go to the hospital because they are not well. We all come to church not necessarily because we are holy. So don't assume that the brother you are meeting in church is all of these things. We are all still trusting God to perfect the fruit of the Spirit in us. So please watch out. This, I would stress this again: discipline, loving, kind. Kind to not just you that he's speaking to, that he wants to marry, but how we treat other people, how we treat others. Is he kind to them? Is he kind to people? Is he kind to his mother? Is he kind to his siblings? Is he kind to his friends? Is he kind to you? My mother always told me something when I wanted to get married. She said, I'm not encouraging you to get money from men. But any man that you're dating and is not able to give you something, you should be careful. This is already a sign that this man will not be responsible. And it actually happened to me. Just the guy I dated just before I married my husband. I remember he came to see me in school. I was my friend. Shout out to you, AB, if you remember this. We went to the bakery, Unilag Bakery at the time, and we're on the queue for bread. And he bought his own, he paid. My friend bought her own, she paid. I bought my own, I paid. Ah, I said there's trouble. This guy already was working. He was working in one of the well-established telecoms company. I was in my final year. I was a student, obviously, right? This guy paid for his own, did not pay. I think bread at the time was about 100 naira or so. I can't remember. He paid for his own. He did not pay for us. I'm not, if you know me very well, I'm not a materialistic person. It was a sign. I didn't need anybody to tell me that this guy is not somebody that will take up responsibility. So am I the kind of woman who wants to live my life providing for my husband, providing for, I'm not sure that was what I want. I mean, rather, actually, I'm sure that that was not what I wanted at that time. So I knew it was a red flag. And as painful as it was, I already knew that this guy, we are not going to last. And then this guy came to my room to see me. I was in my final year. I remember very well. And you know, those days now in school, if you buy a pack of juice, or I'm sorry, a pack of biscuits, you know, those assorted biscuits, you can eat it for like 2 weeks, 1 month before the thing will finish. This guy came to my room that day. I opened that thing afresh. In one sitting, this guy finished the biscuits. The following day that he came back, he did not come with 5 naira orange. This is the same guy that we went to the bakery together. He bought his bread, paid for his own. I paid for my own. My friend paid for no, nobody needed to tell me that Baba Yoli were responsible. That's the truth. So ladies, do not ignore the red flags. You must have a knowledge of who you are, what your role is as a woman, what role you want to play as a wife, and what role that you believe that your husband must play. Even though, yes, I knew I wanted to work and I never wanted to depend on any man. I mean, for instance, I remember when I wanted to get married, I told my husband at the time that, look, I must get a job before we get married. And this is because my mom had told me many times that don't ever marry a man without having your own money, because so if you want to buy your underwear, you have to wait for when he has money. If you want to buy hair cream, those basic things as a woman that you need, you have to wait for him. That don't do that to yourself as a woman. You would strain yourself and you would strain him, and eventually you would strain that relationship. So make sure that you're financially independent, that at the very minimum you can take care of yourself. So let's be clear, I was never that kind of woman that that I was waiting for any man to provide for me or to take care of me. But the line must be drawn. Those things, those expectations that you have, you must be able to provide at a certain level, right? Even though you're not fully depending on him to provide for you or to provide for your children, but there are things that he must do. So are these clear to you? What you want, the role that you believe that the man you want in your life must play. Are you clear enough about these things? Another value that is important is respect. Does he respect people? It is possible for a man to respect people but not respect you. So watch out for that sign. Does he respect you as a human being? Not just as a woman, not just as a weaker vessel to be looked down on, not as a weaker vessel to be, to be helped? Does he respect your awesomeness as a human being? Does he see you as enough for yourself? And how does he draw the balance between that and supporting you as a potential spouse? You need to watch out for this thing. And I must say, it takes a lot of discernment to be able to separate these things that I'm talking about, because men, by their very nature, they are hunters. They will do anything to get what they want. So you need to be extra smart as a woman. You need, in fact, I believe that you need more discernment and wisdom than they do, because they're all coming at you. Because I can remember at different times there were, oh, by the grace of God, there was always a lot of toasters, a lot. And at some point, I actually enjoyed not even having any boyfriend, just talking to all of them, not committing to anybody, just wanting to understand, okay, who is this one self? You understand? But that can also backfire in a way, because that church guy that I wanted to tell you guys about at the beginning, that guy, because I was just talking, I never committed to him. I never really asked, what are we doing? By the time it dawned on me that I was actually getting to like this specific person, and I asked him, the answer he gave me was not very palatable. So play smart, pray a lot, make sure that you're telling God to reveal this person to you, because like I said, men by their very nature are hunters. So you need to be very wise, and this is, don't rely just on your wisdom. Rely also on the wisdom that is available to you through the help of the Holy Spirit. Does he respect your individuality? Does he respect your opinions? When you share your opinions about certain things, how does he receive them? Does he respect your opinions? Does he respect your views about life, about issues, about different things? Two of you are coming together as one. It will mean that, okay, now there are no boundaries to your vulnerability to one another. There are still boundaries. You must both thrive in your individuality to enjoy your coming together. So does he respect the boundaries that you have as a person? You know, does he respect those things? Mutual respect. More importantly, do you respect this man? Is he a man that you respect? Because whether you like it or not, the Bible has said it. And the word of God says, once have I spoken it. Let me tell you, you are going to respect your husband. This thing that we talk about, equality, gender parity, feminism, when you marry the man, it doesn't apply inside your home. Oh. Because like I said, there is structure. There is the captain of the ship. Then there is the assistant captain. You are the support system. So is he a man? Because it is easier for you to respect the man. It is easier for you to submit to the man when he is somebody that you can naturally respect by virtue of how he carries himself, by virtue of his level of self-discipline, what he does, how he just, how he comes across as a human being, the things he does, how he treats people, those values that we talked about earlier. Make sure you are marrying somebody you respect as a woman. Because, like I said, whether you like it or not, you are going to submit to this man. Don't marry a man that is beneath you. I beg you in the name of God. It will frustrate your life. Do not marry a man that is beneath you intellectually. Do not marry a man that is beneath you in terms of discipline, in terms of intellectual. Yes, in terms of intellectuals. Don't marry a man that is beneath you, because you will be frustrated. If you know that you are a highly intellectual person, you love intellectual conversations and all of those, don't marry one that cannot give you the same in return, because it will affect how you respect this man, and you will constantly be in that place of struggle of how you now want to submit to him. So do yourself a favor, marry a man that respects you, but also very importantly, marry a man that is easy for you to respect by virtue of how he conducts himself. Like I said, by the time I got to my final year, unlike my first and second year, and even perhaps third year, I wasn't looking for long-term commitment. In fact, there was a guy that was asking me out, I think end of year one into year two, that he was looking for commitment, but I know that I was not ready for any commitment. My girl was just having fun. I was just enjoying all the, talking to all the people that wanted to come and talk to me. So make sure that at the time that a guy is talking to you, ask yourself, where am I? Am I just, what is my focus now? Am I just focusing on my studies and just having fun with all the suitors that are coming? Or, and by fun, I'm not encouraging what, that thing as fun. No, I'm just saying, just having conversations and just, going out and all of those things. So are you in that phase, or you are in the phase where you are ready to commit? If you're ready to commit, also make sure that the guys that are coming to talk to you also want to be committed. They are also looking for commitment and they are ready to commit. In the age we are in now, it is unrealistic for you to take on the full responsibilities of running a home as a woman. Our mothers did it, but we know what they had to pay for it. So can you do it? Can you do all of those things? Or you want a man that is happy to share responsibilities in terms of financial responsibilities, even house chores, even mothering and fathering? Is he ready to be a father? Is he ready to be a present father, involved father? Will he clean diapers? Will he bathe children? That level of, what are you looking for? Does that speak to you? Is that important to you? So it's very important for you to have a good understanding of how we see shared responsibilities as a couple in terms of financial responsibilities, house chores, parenting, all of those things. How far is he willing to go? While differences can excite your relationship, your differences as individuals, it can be very exciting. Be careful that this is not overriding the need for you to have common interests that can strengthen your bond. So it's a very dicey thing, but you must really pay attention to it. It's important that you have common interests that can strengthen your bond. Make sure that you're also looking at how compatible both of you are. And differences does not necessarily mean that you cannot be together. It is just how you both manage it and how you both accept that this person is different from you, and how this partner is also willing to accept how you are different from him. Remember that every relationship is unique, and so it is important for you to understand yourself and understand your partner before you make any long-term commitment with a person. Thank you for watching today's episode of Life, Love, and Relationships. With all my love, see you next week.